I mean, I always feel like networking is a word that we don't really understand. Like, I mean, it's fine. Go out and go to a party or go to a mixer somewhere, go to a club.
She just had videos of her choreography with her friends, like these content.
Online. Yeah,
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? These
Yeah,
concept videos that she put
yeah.
up.
I think if young people have access to getting brand deals, you utilize that to have
Mhm.
money.
Welcome to Making It Happen, a career in the performing arts, where we discuss how to break into the performing arts industry for yourself or your child, teen, or young adult. Guests include professionals who are passionate and share my vision of helping talented individuals land professional representation and have successful careers in the arts. My name is Leesa Csolak, and I am the CEO and founder of Making It Happen, a career in the performing arts, having helped hundreds of clients break into the performing arts business on stage, in films, television, commercial work, and more. This podcast is supplemental to my groundbreaking online courses. For more information, check out all the ways you can benefit from my courses, my how-to videos, live webinars, in-person seminars, and free guides. Go to lbctalent.com. My guest today is Anthony Meindl. A lot of the Broadway people, when they're young, when they're in high school, junior high, they're dreaming of the dream role. And to be quite honest, my students that I worked with, because I had the performing arts school with the acting, singing, dancing, we did all of it, acting for film and TV, we did all that, and the focus was never there. And if you asked any of my kids, any of my clients, once they've worked with me for a time period, what's your dream role? They don't know. They're just
Mm,
they're doing the work because they love the work. It wasn't about, like, kind of putting this goal of the golden castle on the hill of Broadway and being able to play said role.
mm.
I agree totally with what you're saying. So you have these schools all over the world. I was so impressed.
No,
So
well, thank you.
impressed. That is amazing. And congratulations on finding your niche and being able to be doing what you love to do. But because I don't want to not get to this, can you talk about your school, what the philosophy is there,
Yeah,
your
sure.
teachers, if you have other teachers, like just give us a whole
Yeah.
kind of rundown about, how and what it is that you're doing so people can kind of, reach out if they have that kind of interest and they're in
Yeah,
need.
cool. I mean, I'll just start off with we have, some of the best teachers I think in the world at all of our schools all over the world. So I feel very blessed. A lot of times like I'm going to our New York school this week and I just pop in and I do an intensive, but
Hmm.
the teachers there are working with the students week in and week out. And so all the schools all over the world work that way. So there may be a school near you. So if any of your listeners are, I don't have a
Yeah.
school in like Des Moines, Iowa. So sorry.
Yeah.
Sometimes I
Yeah.
get DM'd
Yeah.
like, "Hey, do you have a school?" and blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Sorry, no, I
Yeah.
don't." But
Yeah.
um, so and I think it just came out of my philosophy of trying to help actors again understand that it doesn't have to be so heady. It isn't so thought out in terms of a controlling kind of playing your idea of something because I believe that acting is a subset that lives within life, and so the same rules that apply in life apply in our acting.
Hmm.
It's fiction because we know we're acting, but it's still taking place in the moment to momentness of an experience with another human being, which happens to be you. Like this podcast is an
Hmm.
example, happens
Hmm.
to be me. I may be
Yeah.
playing the character of Bill, but it's still me.
Yes.
And you and I are then engaged in the circumstances written by a writer. And our job is to do that without judging or filtering or editing.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
that already is radically different and I think very freeing to understand like, whoa, it's about me. I have something to contribute. And I think, Lisa, when I started, I felt like I was such a outlier. And I started with like six students. Nobody was talking really about acting this way that I knew of, especially in Hollywood. I think in Europe
Hmm.
probably, but
Hmm.
and now I'm finding that more and more actors and even old school teachers talk about acting more and more this way.
Yeah.
And I think like all things, our understanding of things must evolve. We have to keep, we're
Yes.
not we're not driving horse and buggies anymore. You know what I
Mhm,
mean?
mhm,
We're
mhm,
hopefully all driving
mhm.
electric vehicles. But
Yeah.
my point
Yes.
is things have to, you have to adapt and evolve, and our thinking around constructs need to ascend, I think. And so
Hmm.
I've always
Hmm.
been, I'm more interested in the human potential
Yeah.
aspect of teaching, because I think the big misnomer is a parent is going to help their teen or child actor get a job, and then they're going to get a little bit older, and then maybe acting won't have the same joy it had for them.
Hmm.
Or I'm working with a young adult and they book a job, and then the show is over, and then they don't have self-worth and self-love
Hmm.
because all
Hmm.
their meaning was tied up
Yeah.
to being on a hit show, and now they
Yeah.
haven't worked for 4 years.
Yeah.
And I think these are the real
Yes.
challenges we should be talking about in class
Yes.
rather than just becoming famous.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's what I've been passionate about. Like I want
I
people
love
to do
that.
well, and I've had so many famous clients. So it's not, but I think we can't be taught that our happiness is in something else.
Hmm.
It's in
Hmm.
us. It's in the
Yeah.
expression of
Yeah.
being who we are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I find too when I'm working with the clients that many times they need the teacher, the mentor to give them the confidence that that is true,
Yeah.
because they have this misconception that they have to attain said goals to be worthwhile, which can be sad. So you know what I mean? Like I like to live in that space of giving them the confidence to say, I am good enough and uh, I can go in whatever direction I need to go in and make this work for me, and I'm going to be happy, because that's the end game really. To be
It
happy with
is.
what you're
That's right.
doing,
To
you know
be
what I mean?
happy. That's right.
It's
Happiness.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. So with the school, do you offer virtual classes, or is it only like where are you?
I,
And I also
yeah.
would love to know, sorry, two-part question. I also would love to know what age groups you offer as well, and how people
Yes.
can, I'm going to make it a three-part.
Okay. And
How
how
people
people
can
can
get in touch.
find me. Yeah. Okay. So we do have, I think, a couple courses still online, and I think that all
Okay.
that's on the website. I don't teach it
Okay.
online, and
Okay.
obviously during COVID we were all online, but
Yeah. Yeah.
now everything is. But I think because of our internationalness, sometimes and people wanting to study this from all over the world, we do have like, let's say, our Cape Town teacher might be teaching a class that because she's based in Cape Town online works for most people in other regions all around the world. So we
Understood.
do offer, yeah, it's kind of cool. So like somebody
Yeah.
in Japan could be taking the class because it works at the right time in her time zone.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is, well, we work with all levels. We're restructuring right now our kids program, which I'm
Okay.
really excited about because our one of our kids teachers, who's a big casting director, she post COVID has moved out of California and works remotely somewhere else, which is great for her. But she was instrumental in part of the program. So we're
Nice.
redeveloping it, and I'm excited. Hopefully, we're going to be launching it again soon. But
Nice.
we work with all levels, and you can find me anywhere. Like, you can go to our website,
Hmm.
anthonymeindl.com. I'm
Hmm.
on Instagram, so yeah, I think YouTube, but yeah.
I want to ask you two more questions.
Okay.
You're developing your youth program.
Yes.
And so if you had advice for a parent with a child, a teen
Hmm.
that's singing all over the house, pretending that they're a character from a movie. I mean, my oldest son would jump out of the bathroom in his underwear and start to be like the mask, you know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
From the
right.
old
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah.
and he knew all the lines, like what's your perception of what they should be thinking? Like, when is it, or maybe what are your thoughts about determining readiness in a
Yeah.
child or teen? Do you have any thoughts there, or
That's
not
great.
really yet?
Yeah, I do. I mean, listen, you know, I'm known for having taught so many young performers who have now become quite famous adults,
Okay.
right? And yeah, and I worked with them in their teenage years, and I think the two things that pop out is I think it's just really important that the the youthful person, the young adult, the kid really wants to do it. That there's no parental pressure. I know it's hard, parents, just breathe. You can't live your dreams through the child. And I'm not a parent, so I'm not judging because I know being a parent is so hard and it's thank God we have parents because we're all here
Yes.
because of parents. So
Yes.
it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But I think there's sometimes parents who really push their children into something that
Mm,
maybe they just love to do it on the weekends, but don't really want to do it based on the metrics that a
yes.
parent wants them to do it. So that would be my first thing. And the
Yes.
second thing is if they do it and they show an affinity toward it, let them show you what it wants to be. And here's my two philosophies about it. I think acting for kids, first of all, the training needs to be just supporting them being who they are, because all kids are ever going to do while they're kids is play themselves. They're not going to be playing the 80-year-old version of themselves. Acting training for youth needs to be, look, your 15-year-old girl is going to play the 15 or 14 or 16-year-old
Y-
girl as the
Yes.
daughter in the movie. So she's
Yes.
playing the permutation of herself. So she
Hmm.
doesn't need to learn how to act the quality. She just needs to learn how to be
Yes.
less reserved about parts of herself or
Hmm.
himself, right? So
Hmm.
that's the first thing. Also, I think the shelf life for actors for young, even though it's a young medium, I want us to remember for parents, I think they have stars in their eyes because of freaking Disney and a
Yep.
Disney show. And so they,
Yes.
but the odds of somebody being on a Mickey Mouse show like Zendaya, good for her, and
Yeah.
she's parlayed it into something really
Yeah.
incredible. But you don't just want your child to end up on a kids program that they then outgrow and never work again. You
Absolutely.
have to think the long game. And so there have been so many troubled kid actors because they were on a show that then defined them as kids and they weren't
Yes.
able to move beyond that. So
Yes.
it's okay for young performers to be on kids shows. There's nothing wrong with it. It's great. It can pay for their college education. It's a beautiful thing. I just don't want all of the parental eggs to go in that basket that
Mhm.
then means they're going to be the next Academy Award winner or have a
Right.
huge HBO show.
Right.
I think again, you have to let the child's own curiosity lead.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so
Absolutely. I
important, as
agree
you know,
totally with
because
all
you're
of
an
it.
amazing parent, Leesa. Like Kevin was figuring himself out and he has figured
Yeah.
out his own journey and has been very
Hmm.
successful. And I'm sure inside you were like, oh no, don't go in the business. But then you were like supporting him in him
Yeah.
figuring it out. That's why
Yeah.
he's a well-adjusted,
Yeah.
successful, but also just great kid. He's a good guy. He was a great kid.
Thank
So
you.
that's important for the
Yes. Oh
parents
my
out
gosh.
there. Okay.
Yeah. 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 Well, that's another. Oh my gosh. We could
Parenting
do two of these.
101
Oh,
from Anthony
please.
Meindl. Yes, you
Well,
can
just yeah, right.
consult
Well,
with me. Yeah, I just think
it
parents get a
that's an
little too
important thing to like what you were saying about just being a good human being. And once you get on a project, I had thought about asking you this, but you kind of brought it up here. Once you get on a project, or even when you're in the audition space and you're going through the process of all of the the audition, the
callbacks.
callback,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
chemistry, um, you have to be a good person. You have to be
yeah,
someone that they want to work with.
yeah.
There's that human piece of it that, and so many beginner actors, singer, dancers have a hard time with that. They get so overwhelmed.
And I'm so glad that you said that. It is you're hiring the personality. The person you're going to be spending
Yes.
12 hours on set
Yep.
every day, maybe for 3 months or whatever. You want to
Yep.
hire somebody who's fun, easy to work with, no egos.
Hmm.
Also, that speaks to because we're talking about parents, if they are minors or they're not emancipated or legal
Yes.
18 yet,
Yeah.
the parents, I have a lot of stories with casting, with producers, directors. They sometimes will not hire the young performer if they get a whiff that the parent is a lot to deal with.
Yes.
And I,
I've seen
I
it.
understand that parents are protective as you should be. And but you've just gotta like let the child lead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That
Let the
is the
child
best
lead.
advice. Let the
Yeah.
child lead. Let the
Mm,
child do their thing because they're the
yeah.
one who has to do the work. They're the one who has to be, passionate enough about it to be on set for those kind of hours and do that type of thing. Okay, that was
Yeah.
amazing. I agree with
Okay.
everything you said.
Great.
Everything you said. All right, young adult coming out of college advice.
I think you have to keep studying and training because chances are you're going to have to retrain everything. I hate to say it, but it's true
Hmm.
because it's a very
Hmm.
academic setting generally. And
Yes.
I think getting out in the real world is just a different animal
Yeah.
and kind of working a different aspect of yourself. Also, I think what's important about training, whether you're on set or you're doing your own stuff, you're doing a play or you're in a different program, who you are at 18 is not who you're going to be at 24 and certainly not at 34. So
Excellent point.
you have to keep working. Your whole gestalt is changing. So you cannot expect to be the same actor you were when you were 18.
Really good
That's why
point.
people's careers don't continue. At least
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
convinced of it because they're not willing. I get it, it's scary, but you've got to explore. I'm a new person. I've got to figure myself out.
Yeah, well, your type changes.
Yeah, that's right.
Your
That's right.
type changes, and you have, and I think like what I do with in my courses is I teach parents and adults, and the adult, because I have two courses, one for parents, one for adults, and I teach how this industry works from the inside out, so that once they understand that, then they're going to make better decisions and they're going to understand. So if you are, like you're saying, if you're this, amazingly fit, young adult male, and then as you get a little bit older, your type is going to change in various ways. Same thing for women, obviously. You have to embrace that because who is hiring you? It's their
That's right.
project. It's who they need in that moment to make that project successful. And you can't live in that other space. So both really great points that you made, about that. Interesting. I
Yeah.
love it. Keep
Yeah. Thank
training,
you.
keep
Yeah.
training, keep
Keep
training.
learning. Keep being curious. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. This has been
Thanks so much for
amazing.
having me.
Oh,
Thanks,
please.
Lisa. That was really fun. We can do a part two anytime you want.
Thanks for watching the Making It Happen, a Career in the Performing Arts podcast. Tune in next Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you'd like to connect with Anthony and Anthony Meindl's Actor Workshop, go to anthonymeindl.com and follow him on socials at Anthony Meindl Studios. Need more info and details about the professional performance industry? Visit lbctalent.com and schedule your free, no obligation consultation and follow me on socials at Leesa Csolak _LBC Talent. By sharing our stories, we can help other talented individuals land the career of their dreams. If you're enjoying this podcast, please like and subscribe below and hit the bell for notifications.